Hi, this is Mrs. Heisemann, and today we are going to be looking at an aggregator pattern in Python. So we are going to go ahead, and I'm using nthought canopy. We are going to write an aggregator pattern. Now, aggregators are when things stick to each other. So not added up together. It's not a running total. It's more of a, like, things just get tacked onto the end. You append things and stick them together. You append a list. It's like having an appendix at the back of your book. It's a bit that got added on at the end. So this, in order to write our function, we are going to start with a def, and we are going to call this 2 centimeters. Because what I'm going to do is put in a list of inches and convert it to centimeters, as if someone gave me a whole bunch of measurements in the wrong kind. So centimeters, and what I'm going to have to give it is going to be, we'll call them heights. Heights of something was given to me in the wrong. It's given to me in inches, now I want centimeters. So I put a colon to close out that line, and I'm actually going to put a little comment here, and I can use a hashtag for a single line comment. This is my definition or define line. Notice it bumped me over 4 spaces so that this will line up on the next one. Now I'm going to do what's called a multi-line comment. I'm going to say heights is a list of inches. Well, it's a list of numeric values. Values in inches. And then I'm going to return a list of values in centimeters. Okay, now 1, 2, 3 closes my multi-line comment, and I can hit return. And the first thing I have to do is I have to set an empty list. Setting an empty list is pretty easy to do. I just have to name it something. In this case, I'm going to name it, I don't know, what am I measuring? Plants, trees, yeah, we'll say cabinets, cabinet heights or something. So we're going to call this list cabinet, well, inches, because it's in inches. And we're going to say that that is equal to an empty list, and that is the 2 square brackets like that. That's how you make an empty list. So I have cabinet, inches, empty list. Notice it's in orange because I haven't used it yet. And in nthought canopy, that is kind of like a little warning symbol. It's not wrong, but you better watch it and make sure that you actually use it. Another single line comment. This time I'm going to type in what we're doing, which is an initialize, and I hit return, and it drops me down another line. So in this, I'm going to use a for loop. I'm going to use for each height in heights. I'm going to do something, right? Well, what I'm going to do, notice it bumped me over again. For each height in heights, I'm going to take cabinet inches, and I'm going to add to it. So because that list is blank, I need to actually put something in it. So that's what dot append will do for me. And I'm going to take whatever the height is and multiply it by 2.54. So whoops, space, multiply 2.54 will give me the centimeters. And that is actually my aggregator part of this pattern. So I'm going to label it as aggregate because that's what I'm doing. So I defined it, I initialized an empty list, and now I have aggregated it. And some of you are probably going, okay, there's one last step, and that is to append it. Notice I'm going to line my, I'm not append it, return it. You have to either return or print a function to get it to do something that you can see. So I'm going to, in this case, return what? That's right, I have to return cabinet inches because that's the new list. And that is what's called a report, which number sign, there it is. I'm reporting out what's there. So notice no red, no orange lines. It looks like my compiler here is going to take it. And then what I have to do is I have to give it a list of heights, right? So in this case, I need to set it to something. So I'm just going to call them, I need to give it a whole bunch of inches. So I'm just going to say inches equals, and I'm going to just give it a bunch of numbers. And these are cabinets. So let's say 24, 36, 22, 16. You wouldn't have a 16-inch cabinet, but still, you get the idea. I'm just making a random list of inches. I hit enter, we're done. So 2 centimeters is the name of my function. And the heights I'm going to call is that list, which I just called inches. And there we go. Now it has converted the entire thing into centimeters. And notice they are all floats. Even though I didn't have any floats in my initial list up here, I do have floats in every one of these because, that's right, because I was multiplying it by a float here. So because I have one float, that means everything after that is a float. Remember, a float is any decimal number, and a int is a whole number. A list is inside of these square brackets, and a string usually has one of these little red quote marks on it. So those are your 4 data types, and that is how you put together a simple aggregator pattern in Python.